Don't move. Turn your fantasy football into reality. Here's CJ.
Hey, thanks, Marty. I'm CJ. This is the Dirty Landry Report, and it's getting close to mid-season in the fantasy world. And it's that time of year where I think we're all just trying to figure out what we should do with our teams, especially the dynasty teams. Am I fighting for first place? Am I fighting for a playoff spot? Or am I at the other end of the spectrum, which is way down there, fighting for one win or something along those lines, draft picks, you know? So at this point is when you have to evaluate your season. I still think a person can make the playoffs if they have 3 wins or more at this point. If you're just at 1 or 2, you've probably got problems. And find one of your players. See, this is what I would do if I was 1 or 2 wins, and this is what I have done, is find my best player that has the most value to someone who's going to win the championship without hurting me long term, like Austin Eckler or Kamara or someone like that. Contact the guy who's in first, or the guy who's right behind him, or the guy that won it last year who's hovering in 4th place with injury problems, and see what they're willing to give you for that player. Maybe you can get some good picks. But keep in mind, the guys at the top end of the draft, those picks are picked, 10, 11, 12. It could be pick 14 if it's a 14-team league. So be careful about what the look of, the name of the pick sometimes is worth more than the actual pick. Is pick 14 really going to help you? Now, in a single quarterback league, it might give you access to one of the top quarterbacks. But in any kind of super flex or deep league, you're not going to get a running back. You might get a wide receiver. Puka Nacua, he went a little bit later in drafts last year. So you can get, but that pick isn't worth Kamara, right? So maybe you can get a younger player that he has, like a Michael Wilson or someone like that, or even Nacua as a trade for Kamara, and you get his first round pick as well. So you get 2 quality guys that could help you in the future. Whereas the guy who's in first place, he knows his pick is worthless, or like to him anyway. So he'll be shopping that pick and be happy to pay that pick if he can pick up someone who can help him win his championship. The guys in the middle, like if you're in the middle like me, I know you're doing better than me, but if you're in the middle, you have to decide. You just making the playoffs can get you a championship. Because, as bad as Adams was a couple of weeks ago, as bad as Carr was at the start of the season, you never know that quarterback's going to pop a 5-point game. Hopkins maybe gets a 3, Adams gets a 2. It can happen. So if you're struggling in the middle of the pack, do everything you can to get there, but don't mortgage your future to do it. Use the waiver wire and minor trades to try and get yourself over that hump. Don't mess with your team too much if you're in the middle of the pack. I don't tank. I don't like that. But some people will sell off everything to get a reset on their team, and you can do that. But in a 14-team league, it's pretty difficult to do that. In smaller leagues like 10 and 8-team leagues, it's a lot easier to rebuild and carry forward than it is in longer league, like a 14-team league. You're never going to get a running back. They're like gold in those type of leagues. But anyway, what I'm getting at here is I don't want you to do what the Denver Broncos did. They felt that in order to compete in their division, they had to have a high-end quarterback. So they went out and they actually spent the budget on Russell Wilson. Now, jury is still out. Sean Payton and Russell Wilson as a combo there. And, I don't know. We'll see what the judgment will be at the end of the year. That's when I would like to know what they're going to do. But they can't get rid of Russell Wilson. $107 million in dead cap money. 6 years at $43 million. He's untradeable, uncuttable, unless they want to eat that money. And for the next year or 2, they're not eating that money because they have nothing to replace him with. The cupboards are bare. This is what they paid to get those 2 guys. Now, I converted Noah Fant and Drew Lock into the draft picks that they originally were. So this is what they traded for Wilson. 3 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a 5th-round pick. For Sean Payton, they traded a round 1 pick, a round 2 pick coming up this year, and a round 3, or in exchange for a round 3 and Sean Payton. So 4 first-round picks out the door, 3 second-round picks out the door, and a third. And they've got Russell Wilson and Sean Payton to show for it. So don't be like that. Don't be so desperate to make that move. A couple of years ago, I thought I had to do something to catch up. So 3 first-round picks for OBJ. He's not even on my team anymore, and I don't think he played more than 1 game for me. So I made a bad decision, but I'm living with it. I've recovered from it. I have a really solid team now there. But for a while, that hurt me a lot. And, I was a middle of the pack team, and I was trying to get up there into the higher end. It's a mistake. But it was one of those teams I felt, if I just, and then it just never worked out. So don't be like the Denver Broncos. Spend your time knowing what you have, and a minor adjustment gets you in the playoffs. That just gives you a chance to win. I'm CeJaay. Good luck this weekend. This is the Dirty Landry Experience.